Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Speak the Truth podcast. I'm your host, Matt Tardio, and today's episode is being brought to you by American Financing. Look, I don't know your exact situation, but if you're like the thousands of homeowners American Financing talks to every month, you're struggling to keep up, barely making ends meet, drowning in high interest debt, and it's not your fault. Life's got more expensive. Inflation hit hard, and if you're still carrying credit card balances with 20% plus interest rates while your mortgage sits untouched, you're ignoring the one thing that could turn it all around, your home. And this is where American Financing can help. Would you trade 10 minutes for a shot at saving an average of $800 every single month? Because that's exactly what homeowners are doing when they call American Financing. A simple, no obligation call could change everything. They have a team of salary-based mortgage consultants, so there isn't any incentive to put you into a loan that doesn't make sense. And there are no upfront fees to find out how much you can save. Don't wait. Call American Financing today and start feeling that relief. 866-889-4244. That's 866-889-4244. AmericanFinancing.net/truth. Good to see you guys back in here this morning. We got bombs falling over inside of Beirut and inside of southern Lebanon. It seems like the IDF is tired of all their garbage. Heck yeah, it's about that time. We also have a massive earthquake that took place today, and I got some footage coming at you from there as well. Like to see you guys checking in. Yeah, I fart ICBM. I don't even know what that means, man. You should not be farting ICBMs. Hey, listen, this stuff is actually going to start taking off now. Between the IDF going into Gaza, we have the major bombing campaigns taking place down inside of Yemen, and then also we have all of those B-2s moving in within striking distance of Iran and Yemen. And today the IDF opens up, well, we could say the Israeli Air Force opens up over inside of Lebanon because Hezbollah, honestly, hasn't abided by the ceasefire agreement. Before we get into all that, as we're waiting on everybody to roll in here, because we're doing this show just a little bit earlier today because what's taking place, I'm going to take you guys up over here and I'm going to show you some of the pro-Palestinian nut jobs that were messing with Ted Cruz. Check this out.
Senator Cruz.
Uh-oh.
Mike Huckabee is being nominated for the ambassador to Israel. He has denied the existence of Palestinians, the existence of their settlement. How, in good conscience, can you confirm him as a nominee?
I'm pretty sure he hasn't denied that Palestinians exist. They clearly do.
He has said that on record. Either way, he has been...
I am wearing pants.
He's going to continue to advocate for billions to Israel.
Good.
When the people of your state in Texas who need money for housing and health care, climate justice, you have had climate disaster after climate disaster after climate disaster. All of that takes money.
Sweatpants day.
Look, you really need to reassess.
Reassess?
When you look at terrorists who are raping and murdering civilians and you decide you want to side with the terrorists, that's really
Side with the terrorists. Israel has been carrying out the genocide on the Palestinian people. Hundreds of thousands of people have been obliterated by our tax dollars.
Step off.
I'm not on the elevator.
Yeah, don't do it again. Okay. Go ahead.
Hey, whoa.
Twice.
Hey.
That's twice you shot
Hey.
me, buddy. That's
Assault.
me. Don't.
Got it on video.
Assault. Nobody cares. Let's go over to the bombing. These people are freaking morons. Bo Williams coming in gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. While I say they're morons, in reality, they probably just have no idea what's actually going on. Okay, so again, 7.7 magnitude earthquake over in Miramar. I mean, this thing was out of control. You can see it here. I don't know if you guys have seen this video yet, but this massive earthquake before we get to Beirut. Check this thing out. That's freaking wild. All the other videos and stuff coming out of Miramar are pretty nuts too. There's a really good one of a, dude, I might have it here. No, I don't. I thought I had it. There's a really good one of like a freaking massive like skyscraper with like a pool on top and it's like spilling water all over the place and everything else. We got people digging through the rubble and the debris over there trying to figure out everything that's going on. I don't know the extent of the damage or how many people actually have been hurt. All of that's breaking is just now coming out. Big one. Bill Hoekstra coming in gifting out 10. Let's take you guys over to Beirut now and show you some of the stuff that's going on. It started off just a little bit earlier when over in the Deir Bala neighborhood. What do you know? It's Deir Bala again over inside of Beirut. The IDF ended up dropping a warning and told them to get the heck out of Dodge. In addition to that, I heard that they did 2 roof knocks before this next airstrike I show you that actually takes place. So they do 2 roof knocks over in Deir al-Balah telling them to stop. Now, what triggered this? Hezbollah started, I heard they fired 2 rockets at Israel, and Israel had finally said enough. But let's be real. Like, I mean, Hezbollah has been a pain in the butt. They haven't been abiding by the ceasefire agreement. They haven't pushed completely north of the Litani River. The UN isn't doing their flipping job. So yeah, Israel's a little bit upset, and they're going to take the fight to the enemy, as they should, as is their right, to protect their sovereignty. I think that anybody with a little bit of common sense could agree with that statement. Let's take you guys over their scene. We've got a bunch of different angles of this that came in. Now, the alleged target that was taking place was, what do you call that thing? What do you call that thing? It's a, that's right, a drone factory. That's right, a drone factory. And you know what? Before I even, I also have to show it. You know, I also kind of like have to show this. Drone factory, St. George's School. Drone factory, St. George's School. Drone factory, St. George's School. Now, I want you guys to remember that, because I've got a response from somebody that was on the ground over there just the other day. Yeah, that 7.7 magnitude earthquake was pretty freaking big. Doing a lot of damage over there. And we got, looks like a bridge that had collapsed and several other things. But yeah, drone factory and school. Here's the airstrike. Ears warning, ladies and gentlemen. Ears warning, because all of these are going to be kind of loud. What you are seeing on this is immediately following that notice that they ended up putting out. Everybody started running for the frickin' hills because Israel warned them. So here's your proof. Israel warned them prior to going on. Not only is the flyer, but these people did get the message, because you can see them running out of the frickin' area. All right. It is not like they were not told that this was going to be going down. They absolutely were told, because I'm going to show you a whining Palestinian here in just a little bit about it. Self-described anyways. A little bit of the aftermath coming in. Don't worry, I've got multiple angles of this bomb coming in. Just to give you guys an idea of like the magnitude of some of this crap. Here you go. Here's another one. This one looks like it took place over inside of southern Lebanon and not over in Deir al-Balah. And we, again, have reports of those coming in from over in southern Lebanon as well. Israel is not playing around. Here's some more videos of people that are just fleeing on the ground, acting like their freaking life's going to end, even though they got told to get the heck out of Dodge. I think we get the point, right? The message was well received beforehand, and those people were given ample opportunity to get the heck out of the way. But that didn't stop people from freaking whining and complaining. But what it did do is allowed us to finally get some good freaking airstrike footage. Stand by. Oh my goodness. Now, people are saying that what that noise is that you're hearing in the background are drones and secondaries exploding. No. What you're hearing is celebratory gunfire. I want you to look at the face of these 2 gentlemen at the front of the screen when this video plays. All right? Look at the face of these 2 gentlemen as this video is playing. This guy right here, who's kind of like running away, and that guy right there. Do you see how they're excited, ladies and gentlemen? Do we see how they're excited? Again, it's in, what did I say? I'm giving the wrong neighborhood probably. But look, either way, screw them. They are freaking pissed off. They are pumped up, and they're freaking happy that these bombs are dropping. Look at them. Look at them. Look at him. Look at him smiling. Do you see that crap? Look at him smiling. They are pumped because these bombs are dropping. That means that the jihad gets to continue on. They've been sitting idly by for a really long period of time. Now, I want you to observe also and put on your critical thinker hat before I show you some of these bombs being dropped. Why, oh, why would this guy that's smiling and happy with a bunch of celebratory gunfire going on in the background, why, oh, why would a bomb be dropping in their area where there's celebratory gunfire and people that are happy that bombs are dropping on these pieces of shit? Because they're excited that everything's going to be going down. Mad Army Vet says, Matt, did you put morning whiskey in your coffee? I just put Jameson in my coffee. No, I did not, sir. I don't do that. I have zero, and I mean zero alcohol inside of this house. It's funny because people always accuse me of it. I had a couple beers in here the other day, but they were, what do you call them? Non-alcoholic beers, right? So Why? Because sometimes I just like the taste of beer, believe it or not. Now, this first video that I'm going to show you guys is the first one that ended up coming out. This one right here that's up on your screen. These things ended up getting dropped via Telegram, and then they start spreading like it's going wild, right? This video right here, when I first saw it, I was like, that is a controlled detonation. And then they gave it a second watch, and then I gave it a third watch, and then I watched another angle of it, and then another one, and I started going, you know what? This is actually a small diameter bomb, a very precision airstrike in the vicinity of that school. Check this out. Now, I want you to observe something in here. Do you guys see all that black smoke that's rising out on that screen? That black smoke is the explosives that were used inside of those drones, more than likely. You can tell because the first bomb that's dropped, I want you to look at the type of smoke that's coming out from that. It's that grayish smoke. That's what I've seen behind every single bomb that's dropped in real life, except for when there's secondaries and things like that going off. So when I first saw this, I was like, controlled det, just because of how the building fell. No. It's a small diameter bomb, very precision airstrike that ended up taking out this little drone site, which then ended up causing the collapse of everything. And then again, you can hear the celebratory gunfire taking place in the background as people are celebrating this happening. You got to remember, they were given warnings. They're just standing by waiting for these buildings to frickin' drop, ladies and gentlemen. They are literally standing by waiting for these buildings to drop with their frickin' AKs out, waiting on those bombs to go down. That way they can celebrate and they can be happy and they can get back to waging jihad. It's probably one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my flipping life. Now, this angle I absolutely love because it gives you an idea for how much garbage was inside of that building. This was clearly a legitimate military target that ended up getting taken out. And regardless of the vicinity to the school, Israel used the proper size munition. We saw that in the very first video in order to conduct this airstrike. Additionally, they had given plenty and ample warning for those people to get the hell out of the way. Why do I know that? Because there's a gentleman here in a minute that I'm going to show you that's actually complaining about all of this going down. You can't make this stuff up. He's complaining about Israel launching these airstrikes. Now, let me get this up over here so that we can talk about it. Why is this such a huge deal, and why are people worried about it? There's also a rumor that the Trump White House warned or asked Bibi, like straight up came in and asked Bibi, hey, man, do me a favor, do not bomb the airport, and do not bomb like other, like whatever, civilian structures. So this is where we're looking at. We're going up here over into Beirut. Why is blah, 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 blah. Give me just a sec. Yeah. So all of that's taking place over there. And I don't know how to tell you guys. It's back to being game on, right? It is 100% back to being game on over in the Middle East. We saw all of this crap go down not that long ago, and it's all in general close vicinity to that main airport that you see down there at the bottom of the screen. So let's get back over to some of these videos and some of these angles that were coming in. And boop, boop, boop. Here we go. Here is a massive shot that we ended up getting from a distance. And again, showing you the skyline, showing you everything else. And I want you to see the amount of smoke that's actually coming out of there. All right. Look at the amount of smoke of what's actually coming out of there. It's a lot. And you guys saw the bomb that hit. So I want you to think about what that actual target consisted of. What do you think that target actually consisted of? Do you think it was a bunch of women and children? Or do we think that actually it was a legitimate military target based on that freaking video alone that we just watched? Here's another one coming in from ground level that ends up showing these bombs falling in on Beirut. Check this one out. This is a good one. Again, ears, ladies and gentlemen, ears. Okay, so with that video that we end up watching, what you can hear, and that volume's cranked up for a reason, I want you to listen to it again, because what you can hear when it happens is you hear the first strike, right, and the building collapses. And then you hear another precision guided munition coming in and taking it out. I'm not even sure if this was a bomb versus, let's just watch it again. Give me a listen, because it doesn't really sound like a bomb when it comes in. Give it a listen. Hold on. Ears, ladies and gentlemen, earball warning. And again, right there, you can see that distinct difference up at the top of your screen. You see that freaking black smoke coming out from the top, and you see that where that second munition came in and impacted and blasted out backwards. So it came in, punched a hole, and when it goes off, because it already punched a hole, that's where you're seeing stuff shoot out the back side of the building. I freaking love that look. Now, it was really easy to figure out this is the exact same airstrike because of the amount of celebratory gunfire that was taking place. You can literally like time the shots up, and they're all going off about the same time. It's freaking frustrating. Old Man Weiss coming in saying, what do you have for Poland building up troops on the border? Nothing this morning, sir. I do not have anything this morning on that as far as troops building up on the border. I'll take a look at it and I'll let you guys know. It's probably going to end up coming out in a short as soon as I have some time today to be able to put that out. So I'll give you a short on that here in a little bit. All right, brother? All right, here's another angle of those strikes. Now, again, I want you to take a look at the amount of people that are on the outside that are waiting and ready with cameras. This is not what we've been seeing in Gaza. We just haven't seen that around at all. Roger S. wanting to know, why hasn't Rob been around? Because he's in the police academy right now here in the great state of Texas. Rob's gonna be a fuzz, man. Pretty excited for him. My buddy gets to go freaking like start off beating the streets again. He's gonna freaking enjoy life. Like it's I don't want to say it's like an amazing life to live, but it's fun. It's fun. And I think Rob's gonna learn what most people do. And sometimes you gotta just let a man have his own journey. That it's not always. I don't know. It'll be good for him. I think it's going to be a good experience. Yep. So pretty cool that Israel is finally opened back up. We haven't seen any freaking news yet. Now, I did get some reports. I want you to hear me on this. Oh, Roger. Yeah. Matt, any opinion on the 4 dead / missing soldiers? Yeah, it was at 88 that they're still working. So that vehicle... you guys are talking about the soldiers. Where'd they go? Lithuania, right? The missing / dead soldiers over inside Lithuania. So yeah, training operation taking place over there. One, that's perfectly normal. The base itself was close to the Belarusian border. It was about 8 miles away. Generally speaking, once you get into that like 4 kilometer range is where it kind of like 4 to 5 kilometer range, like of your military next to a border, like it kind of gets kind of weird when you have tensions and stuff going back and forth. At least that's like a buffer space that we like to keep. But 8 miles away actually is not really that close when it comes to it with that in context, right? So they were driving an 88. It's just a recovery vehicle for tanks. A recovery vehicle for Bradleys, things like that. It can also take, like bigger, like MRAPs and freaking, we used to have like what, RG-33s, like all those freaking vehicles and stuff, the big, heavy armored ones. That's what that sucker's for. And so those guys that were driving that vehicle are on a training operation. They may have been doing it at night. And when you looked at the scene, they have pictures of the scene. It looks kind of swampy. Like the way it goes, I'd have to go over and find the picture of it. I don't have time, but dude, that vehicle's so freaking heavy, and depending on that water and everything else, it would have just sank. I mean, it would have sank like a ton of bricks down to the bottom. And at that point, depending on how deep it is, getting that hatch opened up with all of that water flooding out the vehicle would be pretty freaking hard. And while we might do rollover training and things like that inside armored vehicles, there is very few simulators that exist inside of the military to teach troops how to get the hell out from a vehicle when it starts to flood. Fighter pilots and stuff like that will go through some training of that nature, if I remember correctly, right? But not every soldier gets to do those types of things, especially if they're like on the mechanic side of the freaking house. The recovery efforts are going to be difficult. Let's just be honest. It is a massive weighted vehicle, so it's going to take them a long time to get those soldiers up and out of that water. So do I think there's anything suspicious with it whatsoever? No. I see a joint training operation taking place with NATO countries inside of NATO borders, and it was the 3rd Infantry Division, 1st Brigade combat team out of the 3rd Infantry Division. It was where those soldiers were from, okay? There's nothing shady about this whatsoever. It is a training accident. We used to have guys die doing this stuff all of the time, and girls. Believe it or not, we've had people die loading up freaking rail cars. We've had people die in rollovers. We've had people die just in random training accidents. It's something that takes place all of the time and generally goes unnoticed. The DOD will make an announcement about it. They'll tell everybody about it. And generally speaking, nobody cares. I hate to say it that way, but nobody does. The only reason this one ended up hitting like everybody's radar is because where it took place, number one, and the amount of freaking garbage that came out spewing saying that 4 U.S. service members got killed over by the Belarusian border. So in my opinion, it was an attempt to make NATO look bad that absolutely failed. They took the freaking narrative that they had and they spun it to draw a bunch of attention to it, making NATO do a bunch of catch up. Because what ends up happening when they put information out like that is people will come out and they'll pretend like they'll see it. And it's like, how do you say this? We have no attention span here in the United States of America and across the EU. Most Western nations get short form content. That's what we get. Like people feed short form content. And so when they're flipping through Twitter and they see that, or they're flipping through TikTok and they see those different types of reports, they just automatically assume that it's like some SF guys that got freaking killed by Russians over on the border, and that fits their agenda. And it drives that narrative deeper, even if it comes out and gets corrected later, because they're not going to see the corrected portion because it's not a part of their algorithm. And so, in my opinion, in Matt's opinion, that's a huge disinformation campaign. Now, let's go over into southern Lebanon and take a look at some of those videos and images that are coming out of southern Lebanon, because Israel has been bombing over there as well. All of the strikes just didn't take place over in Beirut. Like I said, southern Lebanon was getting hit as well. And I don't think they gave warnings to these folks, because a lot of the stuff that we're like seeing is shiza like this, right? And even though I just cussed in a different language, YouTube's gonna freaking get pissed off at me anyways. So this is what it is, right? Just different airstrikes and stuff like that taking place. And again, you can see like initial impact and then like different detonation taking place going on over there. So they're taking out some legitimate targets, right? When we get this sucker up on the screen for you, there we go. They are taking out some legitimate targets.
لا طيبة طيبة
I don't know who this guy is, but I'm about to take like one of my burner phones and freaking send it to him, because that's just disgusting, embarrassing, everything else. All right, so this village itself, here we go. I got the name of it so we can see where it's at. Is called Tabit over inside of southern Lebanon. Let me see if it'll pull up. Get that up on the screen for you guys. Oh, it's not showing me. It's going to make me be a pain in the butt. All right. So to give people that are new to this freaking channel an idea of where all of this is going on, you have like Beirut that's all the way up here in this little peninsula, and then we back all the way out and you can see the border. So you can see like the big distance that comes through. And Hezbollah is supposed to be north of the Litani River, which is right about here-ish on the map, like right about up over in this general vicinity. Like they should be up and north of that. And the IDF had moved and pushed through this entire area down here. All right. They had moved and pushed into this entire area. Incog Faraday coming in, giving out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate you, brother. They moved in through this entire area. All right. And then before the ceasefire agreement by Biden got put in place, and Hezbollah didn't abide by it. And so they have been rooted in this whole place for, I mean, I can't even remember how long ago that freaking ceasefire took place. It was a long freaking time ago. And Israel's just kind of been sitting there taking it in the butt ever since then, waiting on all these things to go away. But they won't, and they're not abiding by it. They continue to do what they do. So again, this one's coming out of the village of Tabit, T-A-B-I-T, over inside of southern Lebanon. So that verse video I showed you, Wes Moore says we need to be on Rumble as well. You're probably right. I'll go ahead and I'll figure out a Rumble account and I'll get it linked up over here and we'll start broadcasting on Rumble as well because that's what we should do, right? So over here to Beat inside of southern Lebanon, yeah, you can see kind of like that little mushroom cloud that's peeking out over top of the building. Let me blow that up for you. Hey, you can see it here. And it appears to be like the same style of cloud that we saw from the last video that I ended up having up. So it could be just a couple isolated airstrikes that we're seeing over there inside of southern Lebanon and up over in Beirut. And the IDF is just kind of sending a warning to them to, I don't want to say this, to stop playing games, right? Let me turn that crap off. To stop playing games. Because, I don't want to say this. It's about to get real. Right now, with all of this taking place over inside of Lebanon, and we have the IDF getting removed inside Gaza. Defense Minister Katz came out yesterday and warned those guys. Now, we have bombs falling over here. And the U.S. relentlessly bombed Sanaa yesterday, allegedly taking out the airport. And we have the B-2 bombers that are in the area, along with a ton of other stuff. I heard there's 2 new strike carrier groups that are allegedly going to be moving in to the Red Sea. Yesterday, U.S. officials did confirm to, I believe it was Axios, that Iran is still on the chopping block, that they are there, that those bombers were not ruled out, okay, as part of like a contingency for this entire thing. Uh-oh. So it's not, how do I want to say this? Let me get this up. Here we go. So Iran is going to be a huge pain in the butt here. And Ramadan ends on Saturday. So Ramadan ends on Saturday. Israel is staged outside of the Gaza Strip. I'm telling you right now, the entire Middle East is about to freaking explode. Okay? Israel's staged over here inside of the Gaza Strip. They're ready to go. We got them over in Beit Lahia. We've got them confirmed over in Khan Yunis. And we've got them on the far side of Rafah, which is crazy. Now we have airstrikes that are taking place in Beirut and over in southern Lebanon. The U.S. has been bombing the hell out of Yemen. And all of this, for those that don't know, is related to Israel. All right? Is like related to the Israeli conflict. All of that's taking place. And we have those bombers, which the U.S. said are not ruled out from being used inside of Iran. And so if that's the case, and we have that IAEA report that I went over yesterday talking about, basically they have nuclear production sites and stuff like that, alleged, all right, signs of them that were not reported to IAEA, i.e. Iran is not in compliance with the nuclear proliferation treaty. And then we have U.S. officials going in front of the government over in Congress the other day saying that, Iran is 7 to 14 days away from having a nuclear weapon. Well, if they're 7 days out from having a nuclear weapon, are we talking about definitely not spinning up uranium and then taking that uranium, placing it inside of a freaking warhead and then sending that sucker over to Israel? That would mean that it's already been done. You know, like the U.S. intelligence community or whatever has assessed that their uranium is sitting around like 60%. What's publicly been released, 60%. You need 90% for like the nuclear grade weapons and stuff that we're talking about of what Iran's going to want to use in order to freaking launch. But they're not spinning it from 60 to 90% in 7 days and then weaponizing it and sending that sucker over. I would believe that they already have that uranium spun up. And so our warning to them is coming very, very clear. And the crazy part about it, when you actually think about this, is they cannot, if the U.S. does decide to strike, if Israel does decide to strike this time, knowing everything that's going on in the Middle East, knowing that the IRGCs, that Iran's freaking terror organization that answers to the Ayatollah, has been pushed out of Syria, that Hezbollah is going to get decimated again, and that the Houthis are getting wiped off the planet, and that Hamas is getting wiped off the planet. You got to think about the amount of money that Iran has invested in this entire region. You got to start really thinking outside the box for what Iran's reaction would be if the U.S. and Israel conduct a joint operation on Iran. If that happens, Iran is going to answer back. 100%. They're not going to answer back. And with them being that close to obtaining a freaking nuclear weapon or having one built, and all of the rhetoric that has been coming out of Iran, it is the breaking point, ladies and gentlemen. So it would be my assessment that when the U.S. and Israel, because right now I believe it's a matter of when, not if, just based on Iran's history based on their inability to comply with what they've been told, that they are going to get the crap bombed out of them a lot, because we can't screw this up. If we don't take them on full force and actually bomb the living hell out of them, they will respond. And there is a very high probability that they would respond extremely violently with some new weapons that you got to remember they talked about them having last year. So we've got to do that. We have to take out those sites. We have to take out those capabilities. If we don't, the probability of Iran launching those suckers, ladies and gentlemen, it's too high. It's too big of a risk. Lee Roper says, I know you're busy, but thought I'd ask. You see anything happening these coming months with Iran? I'm mobbing in the area of Syria, Jordan, and Iraq. Yeah, Lee, I do. And I don't think it's going to be the next couple months, Lee. I think you're talking within the next 7 days. Their warning expires in a couple days. We moved the bombers in there. We're bombing the crap out of Yemen. Israel just opened up on Lebanon. Gaza got a warning from Defense Minister Katz yesterday to get the hell out of Dodge and to listen and to pay attention. That's what they got told to do. And these are the scenes that are coming out of freaking Lebanon right now. Look at this. These, my friend, are the scenes that are coming out of Lebanon following some of these airstrikes. This is Iran's proxy force that has been wiped the hell out and is going to continue to get wiped out. What do you think they're going to do? They have so much invested in Hezbollah, and people don't realize the amount of money that Iran has invested inside of Hezbollah, the length of time that they've been working with them, and the amount of stock that they put in there. If Hezbollah is going to get destroyed, if they're going to get ripped out of the Lebanese government, Iran loses all freaking influence. Hezbollah is how Iran is projecting its influence on the area. If they get taken out, Iran's lost a massive investment, but even more so, their radical freaking ideology is also gone. It's gone. They lose their foothold. That's what's going to happen. Iran's going to lose its foothold, and they're going to have wasted billions of freaking dollars. Hundreds of billions, probably. You really think that they're just going to take that lying down? We're going to have to go in full force against them, because remember, we want peace through strength. That's what the United States had came out with, peace through strength. And the language that they speak over there is violence. And right now, they're testing it because they haven't been hit like this in well over a decade. They haven't. They haven't actually had their teeth kicked in. And you hear those people in that freaking initial video, and you can see it. Pull this back up. The mentality of some of these freaking nut jobs. The mentality of them. This is the right one. This is the mentality of them. This one right here. Do Central. Welcome to becoming a true supporter, guys. I dropped a new link over in the post. If you're a true supporter, you'll be able to see it to get into the Discord. So if you're a brand new true supporter, go get in the Discord. Look at this. Smiling and celebrating. They grab their AKs waiting for the airstrike. You can hear it. They grab their AKs waiting for the airstrike to celebrate because they're going back to jihad. And they're thanking God. If they had any martyrs go up, it's Ramadan, bro. They're going to end up getting freaking a higher praise in heaven, right? This is the mentality we're dealing with over there. This is what we have to deal with. This is not an option that the United States, this is not an option that Israel, this is not an option that anybody else shows. In order to get peace over inside of the Middle East, to make that happen, according to them, Israel would basically have to surrender. And they don't think Israel has a right to exist. That's why everybody shouts the anti-Zionist movement stuff. They don't think Israel has a right to exist. They think the land of Israel belongs to everybody else but the Jews. Everybody else but whoever lives in Israel. And in order to accomplish that, right, if they got a hold of it, then you're going to have a freaking Islamic caliphate over that land. And anybody that lives there, your Christians, your non-believers, everybody is going to end up either having to die or pay freaking taxes in the form of gold and silver. That's not peace. That would not bring peace at all. At all. So obviously that's not an option. And the other people won't stop until that happens. And so they're willing to die for it. So what does Israel have to do? What decision are they left with? They strangled a baby, for crying out loud. If you strangle babies because of your religious beliefs, what else do you think they're capable of? You saw it. People forgot what happened on October 7th. That's still very real. That is the very real threat that they're facing. In order to combat evil of that nature, in order to get them to stop, do you think being nice to them and talking to them is going to change their mind? It's not. I'll say it again. They strangled a baby. That is completely and totally unacceptable. The only options that we've been left with are freaking violence. The Lebanese president, I want you to listen to this. The Lebanese president today over in France ended up telling President Macron of France, the Israel strike in Dahia, I think I called it Dirabala, the Israel strike in Dahia, and I quote, is a continued violation of the ceasefire agreement by Israel. A continued violation of the ceasefire agreement by Israel. That's what he said. How can that possibly be when the people that are literally in his own government are not abiding by it? I want you to look at this statement up on the screen while we're having this discussion. Israel called my sister at midnight, warning her to leave or she will be harmed if she doesn't. No kidding. That site is a legitimate military target. There's clearly secondary explosives in the building. Now, for those of you that don't know, and you couldn't hear by the celebratory gunfire and all the people there happy, those guys that are literally smiling in the gunfire going off, the entire area of Dahia is controlled by Hezbollah. It is. There's a vicinity inside of Dahia where you literally have to have your little Hezbollah ID card in order to get in. It's like a military base. So who the hell do you think lives next to that place? And then you have this guy. Who's coming out and trying to spin it in a different direction as if for some reason they're all good human beings, right? Let me show you this guy. Took me a second to get it up. Of course, he's going to say it's terrorism. He's from Dirabala. What do we know about Dirabala over in Gaza? And his sister lives like Dirabala. Yeah, that's in Gaza, right? What do you know? He's a journalist, football journalist, allegedly. And he just put that information out. What do we think his mind frame is? Who do we think he works for? Who do we think? These are the people that are putting out that narrative. It's disgusting. Ladies and gentlemen, I am about to go fly out and see my kids, and we're going to have a lovely weekend. So I will put out a short later on the Polish buildup of troops over inside of Poland, and we'll go from there. Peace, love,